Yeah, it's Taco Tuesday. I got my cohort here right now. The China Doll, the Dork Munder Ritter, is right here, right next to me in her trademark hat. Look at that. She's starting to listen to me about her hair. So she's wearing that hat over there. Makes her look like a country girl, even though she's from the Berg, you know, those that had the silver spoon in their mouth. But anyway, don't forget, man, let's get involved in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts about this main story that we're going to be doing later on. The shooting outside of a motorcycle clubhouse in Detroit. Detroit isn't most welcoming place. Sorry if you're living there and stuff. You just hear the naughty, nasty stories about it. Coming up, we have a deadly stunt, man. Deadly stunts are angering people, and you're gonna like freak out when you hear this one story. A motorcyclist is dead after police throw a cooler at his head. Mm-hmm. Don't we have a lot of problems out there right now, China Doll, and now they're throwing coolers at her head?
I don't know how the cooler came involved in this whole thing, but yeah, he got nailed with a cooler and he died.
This is what happens when you let China Doll research some of the news. Yeah, she gives me all kinds of goofy stuff. But yeah, we're trying to train her a little bit on the system and in the radio stuff. So she's picking out news stories. Hey, she's been doing good, if you ask me. But let's check this one out right here. Hundreds of bikers help bring a smile to children and families in the fight for their lives. The 6th annual Dragonfly ride hits the streets and back roads of Butler County, raising funds and awareness for pediatric cancer. I'm telling you what, China Doll, I don't care what people say, but those children that are fighting for their lives, they're more warriors than any grown men would ever be.
Oh, 100%. These kids go through way more, and their bodies are so frail and so little that they always smile, and they can tolerate it way more than a grown adult.
They just look at it and smile, where grown ass adults are sitting there like me. I get a cold, and China Doll has to hear that. I get a cold. I'm the biggest baby on
my
earth.
God, I'm dying.
Exactly. That's how I sound right there. She ain't lying, man. I'm trying to tell you, she ain't lying.
Every time. He's all, I'm dying. Oh my God, I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. I can't get up.
I can't sleep. I feel like I'm gonna puke. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know a
And
lot
I'm
of
like,
you women
really?
a lot of you women out there saying, yep, we go through that with our men as well. They're a bunch of big babies. Anyway, looking Beckwood Ridge, Ohio, looking up at the sky. Allie Brokaw of the Dragonfly Foundation knows it's going to be a good day. Quote, we are blessed with beautiful weather and the support of this biker community to support our families who are going through this difficult journey. Lifting up their kickstands, the hundreds of bikers at Queen City Harley are ready to hit the road. From the rumble of the exhaust to the rattle of the hum over the open road, area bikers rev the engines to support the children and families of the Dragonfly Foundation. Now, Brokaw says the mission of Dragonfly brings hope in a difficult time. They are going through the cancer journey, and the last thing they want to focus on is cancer. So we try to do is provide a small distraction in their lives, a trip to the zoo, the Reds game, which, you know, you should try to get them to a Cubs game. It would make them happier. Or anything to put a smile on their face and take their minds off of cancer. Ain't it very interesting that bikers really love to help kids with cancer? St. Jude's is one of the biggest ones out there, and the one that most of us really like. And I like that the donations actually go to the families instead of this, okay, 80% has to go to administrative fees. What is that?
I can't stand those that take cuts off the top of donations. Donations are meant for what their main purpose is, and it's whether it's for a child or an adult or a family, it needs to go 100% to the family. Don't know taking a cut off the top. That is not the purpose of making donations to something.
Well, that's why I like St. Jude's, because St. Jude's, they actually don't make the family pay for anything.
No, they don't.
It's a beautiful organization. Beautiful, beautiful stuff right there. Now we're going to go to this story out of 105 WPDH, man. It seems like, and you know what? A lot of people get upset about this, and I don't blame them. I get upset about it. You know, I can understand doing stunts and acting all goofy and stuff, but do it in a parking lot or somewhere that if you lose control of that bike, you ain't ramming somebody else, be it highways, roads, whatever. Don't you look at those that do these stunts like a bunch of retards?
I do. And the main thing, my concern isn't so much for who's on the bike doing the dumb stunts. It's who's around them that's going to get nailed when that bike doesn't land right.
Exactly. Last night, it was funny. I did a short. You got to go take a look at it. And this is why I'm saying, man, what's going on with cops and bikers lately? You know, I know we're supposed to be on each other's side, but cops ain't supposed to be trying to kill us. But the short showed where a cop brake checked a motorcycle on purpose to get him to hit the car. And it would have been a bad thing, but it seemed like the motorcyclist was okay. Again, it's on the shorts on YouTube. A motorcyclist with a death wish took the roads in Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie.
What is with that one? Really? This weekend, drivers were visibly terrified. I was riding south on 9, a mile or two just north of Mall, when cars began slamming on their brakes. And that's one thing. Cars start slamming on your brakes, you get that domino effect. Why? Because of one idiot?
Yep.
A mile down the road, I approached a red light and saw several drivers yelling out their windows at a motorcyclist waiting at the intersection. I pulled up next to the motorcycle just as the light turned green, and he looked at me and smiled before zooming ahead and doing a wheelie. After popping that wheelie, the daredevil sat spread eagle on his bike, leaning all the way back, so the bike was almost completely vertical. And if you're on YouTube or any of the other ones, you can see what this moron is doing. You know what? I think that would upset me as well if somebody just stared at me and laughed. It's like, what kind of life are you got here, dude? Is like, do you crave that much attention?
Well, must I remind you that there's someone that I know that showed me a video of her son who lives somewhere in California, and he was popping a wheelie on his Harley. And I go, well, that's not safe. What if he comes? I mean, to me, I don't think Harleys are built to pop wheelies.
Well, if you got your Dynas, your, you know,
yeah,
all
but
that
you,
kind
I
of
mean,
stuff
you
out
could
there.
possibly come down on that front fork wrong.
Well, yeah, and any kind of, it's bad enough those things are like loaded guns. You don't need to help them go off by acting stupid.
And I told her, I'm like, if my old man seen what you're showing me right now, I'm sure he'd have something to say about it. And she's like, well, at least he was wearing a helmet. Do you wear a helmet when you ride? And I'm like, is that any business of yours?
Well, if you're riding with a helmet, it's not going to help you when you smack down at about 60 miles an hour because you're an idiot.
But I'm just like, and you're bragging. I mean, she was showing it to like anyone who would watch it. And I'm like, you're just stupid. Why?
Like
you're
I
just
said, you know,
I'm
not a Karen, but at the same time, you know, ride with some common sense on the highways, because you might not care if you get hurt, but don't hurt anybody else, man. That's
like you
BS.
said, do it in a parking lot.
Exactly. Coming out of Newsmax right here, this is one of China Doll's finds. Motorcyclist dead after police throw a cooler at his head. A man fleeing New York police officers on a motorcycle died Wednesday after a sergeant hurled a plastic picnic cooler at his head from close range. Now, what do you think about that? Do you think the cop should be charged?
I 100% think the cop needs to be charged. He did it knowing there was going to be some sort of outcome.
And that's the thing. He didn't think about, okay, he might cause the death of the motorcyclist, but what happens to the bike? It still has forward motion. It's going to hit something.
Yep, and it did. It caused a violent crash.
Erica Dupre, 30, who had 3 young children and worked as a delivery driver, was pronounced dead within minutes of being struck on a Bronx sidewalk. The sergeant, Eric Duran, was suspended without pay just hours later, and usually quick disciplinary move by the NYPD. Now, Newsmax is a right-leaning type of deal, and they always take the side of the cops. They can't do no wrong. Yeah, that's where you get the source from. New York Attorney General Letta James, who has jurisdiction to probe deaths involving police, is investigating. Now, surveillance video viewed by the Associated Press shows Dupree driving the gas power. You notice how they put gas
powered.
Now it's going to, okay, he was on an electric powered one. Motorcycle on a sidewalk toward a group of people, including the sergeant, who was not in uniform. Not in uniform. But what do you think about that? What do you think about that one? I think he should be charged.
I think he should 100% be charged. He basically murdered that guy.
Well, you know, regardless of what they try, that's the thing about these investigations. You got to actually find out what's going on. Most of the time, the cop's going to say, my life was in danger. And that's why I had to do it. But me and you did it. We'd be sitting in jail right now. That's the thing right there. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. China Doll's going to sit this one out real quick. I'll bring her back in a second. Let's see here. We got 1 killed. Unbelievable. 4 injured in a shooting outside a Detroit Motorcycle Club. The Detroit Police Department is investigating after 4 people were injured and 1 was killed in a shooting Sunday outside a motorcycle club. It just hit the press, by the way. The shooting happened at about 4:04 a.m. in the area of Cloverdale and Grand River. Police say the shooting outside the motorcycle club stemmed from an argument. No other information has been released at this time. The investigation is ongoing, and I'll keep you up on all those details. But going back to that stunt rider, it does drive you nuts when you go down the highway and see that stuff. Because it's like, dude, do you got like brain cells? Did you smoke them, or what did you do to them?
Well, that's just like all the crotch rockets, rice burners, whatever you want to call those.
It's funny that throughout the country, they're called all different kind of things.
Well, those are the 2 that I know them as. Ninjas, katanas, whatever you want to call them. Doesn't matter. They go down the expressway out here and they pop wheelies on the expressway going 70. And I'm like, y'all, and the first thing out of my mind, accident waiting to happen.
See, I've always thought those crotch rockets, rice burners, whatever, those bikes were made for the track. They should have stayed on the track. There's no reason you got to go 300 miles an hour on the highway.
No.
Unless you're on the, that German thing over there, that Vagabond or whatever.
Oh my God, you have to go like that fast.
Yeah, you have to. Anyway, we're going to go to the second half of the show right now. After this music break, you can go over to the Morning Madhouse over on YouTube or on X, formerly Twitter, and watch it live. Also, maybe on Friday or Saturday nights. I'm trying to distinguish this one because one of them nights, China Doll goes to the bar and I get the party at home. And I'm probably going to be doing a show just on X or on the Madhouse. It's going to be a good one. It's not something that's going to be politically correct, but we'll be right back after this.
Join the Insane Throttle Members Only Club on YouTube or Spotify and receive exclusive content. Your membership in the Throttle Club helps keep the show going strong.
Is an in-depth look at the trials and tribulations of street gang and motorcycle club life. This isn't the run-of-the-mill book that doesn't give the goods. This book will go into detail of events that actually happened. All materials in this book have been approved by those involved. There is nothing poetic, nor is there any price worth paying for the life we choose to live on the streets. James Hollywood Machikari, Brotherhood and Betrayal.